Here's the toy. See the toy. That's what I would call this. Basically, I mean, I'm gonna be a bit of a dork about it. It deserves some respect for the fact that I've had probably about 50 bags of popcorn worth of popcorn out of this thing. I haven't thrown a single one of those bags away. I get the big bucket container of popcorn kernels. And so I do like the fact that I'm not throwing all those disposable bags away. And I can get as much popcorn or as little as I want in a serving. The thing I have about this one, and I'm going to rate this probably a 4.8 out of a 5.3. And that seems a little bit harsh. Well, it would seem a little harsh if I detailed my rating plan on that a little bit more, but part of the appeal of the rating plan is that it's not used to bias. It's just a sense of, I'll give you a little hint here. If the first number is different from if the first part of the first number is different from the first part of the second number, so in this case, 4.8 out of 5.3, 4 and 5 are different, then I would not recommend or purchase this again. But if the point difference between the two of them is less than 6, I don't think it's a bad idea. So going with that, I wanted to like this out the gate. Because, you know, if you have a bag of popcorn a day for a month, you're throwing away 30 bags. But the problem I had with this, and I'll have some things here to show here, is, I mean, this is relatively nice. It's got this thing, it's got a nice line on the top of it that I can use to figure out how much to roughly pour in there. It's got a handle on it. Pop it in and out of the microwave. It's glass. You can wash it out. Put it in. I put 2 tablespoons of popcorn kernel and hit the popcorn button, and it does pretty good. I will say that at the standard popcorn setting, I have had, well, it's hard to say because I've had 3 to 5 first pops burn pieces of popcorn. So you get that little charcoal burnt taste. So you burn 1 or 2 pieces in a batch sometimes. But here's the thing that bothered me a lot. And this is the thing that frustrated me a lot. This is what's left. And I don't know if I can show you this. That's the number of kernels that are left from 2 tablespoons of popcorn in the microwave. And usually, in order to prevent it from burning the whole batch, I had to stop at about 45 seconds left on the clock. Sometimes I'd let it go down to 35, but that's usually when you got it more burnt than other times. This was a batch that was done with 35 seconds left on the clock. I was lucky on this one. I didn't have any burn ones left. But that's almost a tablespoon of, it might be like 3/4 of a tablespoon of kernels left, unpopped. Now, it's not a huge deal. I mean, I eat the popcorn, I save the kernels, I put them back in the kettle, you know, a couple hours later for a second round or whatever. And sometimes I just save them up over 3 days of, like, you put a little extra in, you leave a little bit that's not popped, you save it in a container. 2 days later, after they've sat out on the counter and taken some from the air back into them, put them back in the kettle, and pop the rest of that set. I feel like if it's a popcorn popper, it should pop the popcorn. And here's where I really hit a point where it was like, you've got to be kidding me. It occurred to me that really what we have here is just a container. I don't even know what that was. All right, so this is just a container. The glass isn't offering any extra feature necessarily. And so like none of this is as important as it can first appear to be. So I got to thinking, I've got a Snapware with a plastic lid and a glass base that fits in a microwave. I can use this to store food in the refrigerator. I can use this to eat out of. It's a dish. I can do lots of things with this container. Can I pop popcorn with it? Because it's essentially, this is a glass container with a lid. This is a glass container and it has a lid. That's all we need it to do. So I did that. Same number of kernels. I did 2 tablespoons of popcorn kernels. And I did it for the same amount of time. And this is what we've got left for the popcorn corn kernels. That's easily 1/3 to 1/4 of the kernels left. This did a better job. So just giving it a chance to be a fluke. I did it again in the popper. And it's a little bit less than the last time, but still, I'd say at least a teaspoon. And I did it a 3rd time. And I did get a better result that time, but it's still like half a teaspoon of those kernels left. By far, out of 4 poppings, and I've done a couple of them in the microwave safe dish, and every time I've done it, it pops almost all of them. I had a round where I only had 5 unpopped kernels out of 2 tablespoons of kernels. But out of the same number of rounds in the microwave tasty popper thing, every single one of them had much more. Like the best I got from that was as close to the best I got out of the tasty corn popper was equivalent to the worst I got out of the microwave dish. So I would kind of say I like the idea. It has a lot of potential. I might be doing something wrong. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to imagine that it's my fault, but I do think that there is a distinct advantage here, and that is this gets super hot. Like this, it doesn't get as hot because it doesn't have the thermal mass of the glass. This gets horrendously hot. I took a dishcloth to pull it out of the microwave afterwards, and I had to hurry to get it down on a trivet so that it wouldn't scorch the counters. And I could feel it through the dishcloth. This was that hot. And it took like half an hour to cool down. This is a little hot, but it's got a handle that's not hot at all. This doesn't have a handle. So that's a big plus right there. I don't know how the plastic lid for this will hold up over time. It says it's microwave safe. So, you know, it's freezer safe, microwave safe. So, I mean, I'd be inclined to trust it a little ways. But this, I know, this is a silicone. So I know this is microwave safe. It's not going to have any problems there. And as a silicone, it's not like you're heating plastic, which can sometimes make a plasticky smell. I've not had any issues with this yet, so I'm going to favor it. But I feel like if you had one of these with a silicone lid and an oven mitt, you can do that. I think I got this for like $5. This was $6 to $8 or whatever. So I wouldn't say that this is an investment that I'd make again. I can play with it. All right, so that's sort of my review right there. If you're new to what I'm doing here, like I am, I'm making a change up to my format for these. So I do the rate and review, and then in a separate video, the prompts, the creative prompts for how to use them and what to use them on and whatnot. So if you're interested in seeing that, that'll be going up right next after this. So tune in for that, and I'll see you there. Take care. Have a good night. And